you see a homeless person, you don't want to put their situation first. You want to say, oh, that person is experiencing homelessness, rather than saying they're homeless and acknowledging their situation before acknowledging them. And I think that's really important.
Yes.
I think it's really important to kind of keep the humanity, with that person and not reduce them to that situation.
Those people were your neighbor, right? They were your classmates. Those that are so close to us are experiencing things that we could never imagine.
What we need to know in Gwinnett County is that homelessness exists. It exists in such a way that it's hidden because people don't want to see it.
Homelessness is happening to a lot of people. There is not one type of person that is affected by homelessness. Well, homelessness might look different than what some of us may think. It certainly does for me.
Homelessness in Gwinnett County looks like this. Yes, we see the homeless on the street. We encounter them in different ways, but sometimes people don't see where the person stays in a hotel or an extended stay.
That is something I kind of didn't really consider up until I was a little older, that there's no one look, there's no one image of what that is.
A lot of times we feel like, oh, they're drunk, oh, they're addict, oh, they're this, oh, they messed up, oh, they lost out. Each one of us are 1, 2, 3 paychecks away from being homeless.
I mean, I grew up with parents who didn't necessarily hold up the cardboard sign, but they were constantly asking for loans or for some type of forward advancement from friends or family members. And I know that there were family members and friends of theirs that looked at them in a certain way and would say, like, we don't want to give them those funds because we know what they're going to spend it on. But I do know from experience there were moments where those few dollars that a friend gave them, it didn't actually go towards a pack of cigarettes. It may have paid for my school lunch the next day.
I had a plan. I had everything lined out when I relocated from one state to another. But one by one, everything that I had planned just began to fall apart.
We're finding that a lot more people who have college degrees and who have worked professional jobs, who have been independent for many years now, are experiencing homelessness because of conditions sometimes out of their control, and particularly because of the economy, because of COVID, because of the lack of affordable housing, which is an issue in Georgia.
Just imagine having a family inside of a car where all of their stuff, all of their possessions in the car, and it's 2 or 3 in the morning, they're trying to get some sleep, and someone complains about them.
Life happens.
Life happens.
But that wasn't going to appease the people that I would be apartment hunting to hear, that was just, I was in a temporary little bit of a pickle, but, I'm working on it. They're gonna look at me and say, oh, we're not gonna be able to rent to you. You gotta figure out somewhere for you and your kids to go. I'm in a brand new state. I know no one but the relatives that I came from New Jersey with to Georgia, and I have my minivan. The biggest thing that I personally needed was to feel encouraged, because I was literally at the lowest point of my life. I felt like such a complete failure.
Oftentimes, or probably most times, when a person is experiencing homelessness, they're discouraged. They may feel guilty. They may feel judged.
These children I had a responsibility. And look what happened. Yeah, that wasn't my plan, but they look up to me. I'm responsible for them.
I didn't want to ask for anything from my parents because they were barely providing off of the dollar menu. So why would I ask for a thing of deodorant or a new toothbrush or something that's like a necessity? And something like that for any individual, a child or an adult, that's something that you just don't think about getting for yourself when you're just trying to, put food on the table for your kids or for yourself, and then also provide a shelter.
And when we describe that person as just a homeless person, it can really damage how they feel about themselves.
I just felt like, I was a total failure. I judged me hard. I could not lead them if I fell apart because they were going to follow my lead. I set the tone for us.
And if they don't have dignity, it's hard for that person to have the motivation, maybe, the encouragement they need.
I needed somebody to just speak life into me because I felt such a dead situation.
How you feel about yourself says a lot about how you go through your daily endeavors, So I think just being able to be there in the present with people, is a gift that can't be, overstated enough, where it's just like, yeah, you can give money, you can give food, and those are equally important, but time is also up there as well. That feeling of someone cares about me, that sense of compassion is, also up there as well.
Whenever I would come across one of our neighbors without an address, that I would first ask, when was the last time you had a meal? Because before I would be so quick to hand out cash, I would basically assess needs first.
If I'm hungry, no sense of giving me money right now, no sense of giving me sweatshirts, no sense of giving me clothes, but I'm hungry.
Sharing food is beautiful. That is my personal love language. I do remember specifically during that season of life, I thought that it was really, really cool that the front office of a few of the extended stays had little front offices that you could go into and gather a couple quick things, whether it be, a fresh piece of fruit in the morning or a muffin. And as a kid thinking like, fresh fruit, that was such a treat for me because I primarily ate either off of the dollar menu or gas station food, which is crazy to think about.
You got a grumbling stomach, your stomach is going to overpower any kind of thing, any scripture I want to quote, any word of encouragement I want to give, any prayer that I want to pray. You ain't hearing none of that until your stomach has been satisfied.
I remember bringing home like apples and bananas and things like that from lunch, also from school, and bringing it back to our extended stay and kind of like cherishing those things and being like, I can't wait to eat that banana later. It's gonna be awesome.
So meet the need. Define what the need is. Meet the need if you can. And if you can't, don't walk away. Use your contacts, use your resources. We have to talk about it as the church. If we see it, if we can do something, let's do it. If we talk about it, you never know. It's about taking care of God's people. And as Christians, that's what we're supposed to do. Unto the least of these, you've done unto him.
The reality today about homelessness in the metro Atlanta area is that it can happen to anyone, but it's not a disease. It's not contagious.
When we see people experiencing homelessness, is that they're experiencing a situation, circumstance that really is going against their humanity, against their mental health, against their spiritual health, of not having a place of refuge, a place of rest and peace.
And as a community, particularly as a faith community, it's something we need to care about, to look for, but not to be afraid of.